Does Ridge regret forcing his father's retirement? On today's The Bold and the Beautiful recap, Eric thinks he was delusional about designing. A disheveled Eric talks with Donna at their mansion. As they look at his sketches, Eric wonders if he was delusional to think he could get back in the designing game. Donna notes her honey bear is as talented as ever and thinks he should just show Ridge. She knows Ridge is concerned about his father's health, but Eric also thinks he doesn't want to work with him. Donna knows Ridge's words hurt, but thinks retirement maybe isn't such a bad thing as they could spend more time together. Previous The Bold and the Beautiful, Ban B. Recap. Brooke and Ridge want to put Eric out to pasture. Ridge questions his decision on The Bold and the Beautiful. Ridge and Brooke are in the Forrester main office discussing Eric. She asks if he regrets forcing his father's retirement, but Ridge doesn't know. His dad has been a lifelong inspiration and did what he did to make sure he is okay. He wonders if maybe retirement should have been Eric's decision, you think. What did you think of today's episode? Sound off in the comments and watch the video below. Keep checking back for the latest The Bold and the Beautiful recaps. This story was originally published by Daytime Confidential on December 10, 2025, where it first appeared in the Bold and the Beautiful section. Add Daytime Confidential as a preferred source by clicking here. Ridge Forrester had always believed he understood the weight of legacy. He had carried his father's name on his shoulders since the day he first learned what Forrester Creations meant. It wasn't just a company, it was history, identity, and expectation wrapped into one gilded package. And for decades, Ridge walked with confidence, believing he knew exactly where the lines between father, mentor, and legend began and ended. But in the weeks since he pushed Eric into early retirement, those lines had blurred beyond recognition. The decision had been logical. That was what Ridge kept telling himself. The symptoms, the tremors, the lapses, the mistakes on designs Ridge never imagined his father could miscalculate, were impossible to ignore. Eric was slipping, and Ridge believed he was saving him. Saving the company. Saving the family. But now, standing alone in the dim quiet of the office that used to be his father's sanctuary, he wasn't so sure. The leather scent still clung to the space. Eric's drafting table, untouched except for a thin layer of dust, waited like an abandoned throne. Ridge's fingers brushed over the surface, tracing lines only he could interpret, edges of old battles, the grain of creative genius, the maps of their shared life. "Why doesn't this feel like a victory?" he whispered. The beginning of the breakdown. Tension had been simmering for months. Eric's determination to reclaim designer dominance fed directly into Ridge's belief that the elder Forrester was pushing himself too hard. Each time Eric insisted he was fine, Ridge saw something else, something fragile, concealed behind stubborn pride. And when the handwriting tests, the medical reports, and the quiet panic among the staff grew impossible to ignore, Ridge acted. He hadn't meant to be cruel. He hadn't meant for the conversation to turn into a confrontation. But Eric had always been larger than life, and when Ridge challenged him, the man met fire with fire. "You're firing me from my own company?" Eric had rasped, eyes blazing. "I'm protecting you," Ridge said, trying to sound steady. "From what?" "Myself." "Yes," Ridge answered, though the word tasted like poison. After that, nothing felt right. Brooke looked at him like he had broken something sacred. Steffi defended him, but her support felt thin, tinged with worry. Carter tried to stay neutral but couldn't hide the discomfort that flickered in his eyes. Even Thomas, reborn, meticulously rebuilding trust, was hesitant to weigh in. Ridge hadn't seen Eric look that defeated in years. The silence that followed. In the days after, Eric withdrew. He stopped visiting the office. He ignored calls. Donna tried to mediate, offering Ridge soft, tentative updates. "He's tired today. He's resting. He's sketching again, but his hand, it's not cooperating." Each report cut deeper than the last. Guilt swelled inside Ridge like a tide he couldn't fight back. He tried to bury himself in work, but the lines he sketched lacked the spark he had always been able to summon. Designing without his father's presence, without the subtle pressure of Eric's judgment or praise, felt hollow. Ridge had spent years thinking he wanted the reins. Now that he had them, they felt like chains. Confronting the reality. About a week after the retirement fallout, Ridge found himself standing outside the mansion, unsure whether to knock or leave. Donna opened the door before he decided, her eyes soft but wary. "He's in the study," she said. "Good days and bad days." Ridge nodded, stepping inside. Every footstep felt heavy, like he was trespassing. When he reached the doorway, he saw Eric seated at his drafting table, staring at a blank sheet. His shoulders slumped in a way Ridge had never seen. Ridge cleared his throat. "Dad." Eric didn't turn. "If you're here to check on me like one of my doctors, save your breath." The bitterness in his voice sliced through Ridge's remaining sense of righteousness. "I'm not here as a doctor," Ridge said quietly. "I'm here as your son." "That's worse," Eric muttered. Silence settled between them, thick, uncomfortable, charged with decades of unresolved emotion. Finally, Ridge spoke. "I didn't want to force you out. You know that." Eric let out a hollow laugh. "Then what would you call it?" "I thought I was doing what was best." "You thought you knew better than me," Eric corrected. Ridge winced, but he didn't deny it. Eric's hand trembled slightly as he picked up a pencil. "I've built my life designing beauty, creating something for the world. And suddenly I'm told I can't make beauty anymore. That I'm not capable." "I never said you weren't capable," Ridge protested. "You didn't have to," Eric replied, finally turning to face his son. "You took the choice away from me." The words hit Ridge with the force of a blow. Because Eric was right. Ridge had made the decision for him, not with him. And for a man like Eric, who thrived on autonomy and vision, that act had been more devastating than Ridge ever imagined. The weight of remorse. That night, Ridge sat on his own balcony, the city lights blurring below him as regret churned like a storm inside his chest. He replayed every moment of the confrontation, searching for the point where things could have gone differently. Where he could have paused, listened, respected Eric's boundaries rather than overriding them. It wasn't that Ridge believed his concerns were wrong. Rather, he now understood that the cost of protecting someone wasn't just measured in safety, it was measured in dignity. And he had taken that dignity from his father. Brooke joined him quietly, sitting beside him without speaking for several minutes. "You're torturing yourself," she finally said. "Maybe I deserve it."